Right from the very beginning, I could see the need, and someone had to do it. A lot of people out there that needed help, and the only way to get it was through places like this. How I got into it was my husband's Buderim Lions Club meeting. Julian Madden from Mooloolaba Rotary came up and spoke to them as a guest speaker and said he could see a need in the area. There was a lot of people that needed more help, and he was aiming for a Meals on Wheels at the time. My husband came home and he said, you might be interested. We were Lions ladies. There was no such thing as lionesses or anything. We were just the wives of lions. My youngest was at school and I was at a bit of a loose end and probably a pain in the neck, and he suggested I might be interested. It was a struggle to get going. Julian struggled to get people. He had a public meeting, which wasn't terribly successful, but still we decided that we'd plod on. And in 1973, they formed the Ladies Auxiliary, and our aim was to raise money to firstly get a Meals on Wheels and then the hall.
It was a matter of back in the olden days, in the early 70s, that June and a lot of like-minded people got together to start what was originally going to be a kindergarten. And so they ran raffles, bake sales, bingo, 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 and more bingo. And from that grew the kindergarten, which very quickly came into a respite centre. She is an absolute force of nature, June Connolly.
We had street stalls to start with our very popular lamingtons. Eventually, the men were running the bingo in the daytime on Fridays, every Friday.
I ended up being involved in the Friday evening bingo that June ran and raised a huge amount of money for the organisation. It was a major fundraiser that supported Meals on Wheels for many years. I used to think that they might have at times got up to 100 people, and some of them were very, very keen bingo players, and one darest not be the stand-in caller because you would be called to task for doing something wrong or saying the wrong abbreviation for a number. June was one of the progressive people on the committee, of course, and she'd been there for many years before I was involved with it, and for many years afterwards, and she still is, of course, yes. But June was one of the people pushing for better control within the organisation and expansion into new areas, and that was great, yes.
June was involved in running bingo days, and also selling lamingtons. And my mother was selling bricks for this hall before it was built too. A couple of million bricks, I think, altogether. I got involved 20 years ago, but June Connolly was one of an instigators, a friend of Mum's, and basically they were all on the committee originally. When my parents came up here, my father was a retired architect. He'd always been involved in community, was the Scout Commissioner, and we had a lot of Scouts came to stay at our place and go to camps. I used to love going out to project as a young person, going out with these senior people, professionals, roll their sleeves up and get into work and laugh and joke, and they really enjoy doing work for the weekends. So that was their enjoyment, serving the community, and that was a good influence for me.
It's important for our seniors to come along because they are amongst the most isolated generation that there is, and just to have people that they can speak with, and your family are too busy or you don't have family, then a place like this of course is vital to your mental well-being. To come together and just commune, to break bread and have a cup of tea is a vital thing for everybody. We all need that human contact, and get some up and about too. The importance of the community hall, I believe, is that we've become so dislocated in the past few years and people have become so isolated. So to have a place where people can come, even just to talk to each other, is such an important thing. And for it to be in this central area, which is now, of course, surrounded by apartment buildings, there's going to be a lot of retirees that need a place that they can come. It's vital. It really is one of those little hearts within a community.
I think the community will be pleased to see it open again. Like the local community, the staff of Suncare, all the members of Suncare, the life members, I think they will all welcome it back, because there's been a lot of people say that this building here is like the heart and soul of Suncare. My wife and I have done Meals on Wheels as a volunteer since we sold the post office in 2008, and up until last year when they sort of basically stopped us because they said we're getting a bit old. But some of the people we've met along the way we still keep in contact with now. Some of those people are in their 90s, they live alone. They've got great stories, some of those people. Like there's one fellow, Bob, we used to take Meals on Wheels. His wife had passed away. Well, he was born on a railway track between Charleville and Cunnamulla, and he rose to be the station master in Charleville. And he's about 94 or 5 or something like that. We go over and have a cup of tea with him. The son brings him over to our place, and he still goes on. The son still takes him on all these trips around the place on boats and everywhere. You know, some of these people have just got magnificent stories. If you're prepared to sit down and listen to people, and I think that's the sad part about today, that there's not enough listening.
2005, I approached an organisation called Volunteering Queensland. They discovered I had a bus licence, so I got a job here driving the respite bus. I used to pick people up on their first visit to the respite centre, and they were apprehensive, wondering what they were coming to. 2 weeks later, they were relaxed and looking forward to the next visit. I liked that very much. I'd come from a pretty grim workplace environment in my last paid job, and here the staff were all happy and they were always prepared to go the extra mile for the clients. That was great. We collect the meals in the morning, deliver them to the clients, have a little chat with the clients. That's what it's all about. The main purpose of the centre is to offer respite to the carers. It must be hugely stressful to be caring for a loved one towards the end of a life. The centre offers a break from that relentless stress.
I consider June to be a quiet achiever. It's never about June, it's always about somebody else. When I first met June and saw the things she was doing, she just didn't stop. You know, she had that organisation front focus, and that's all that drove her, you know, and I think she's a very modest woman.
She really is a powerhouse. She's gorgeous. And, you know, however old she is, she's about 180 years old, and she's just amazing. It was a great honour for me to nominate her for the Order of Australia, and I was thrilled when she got it, of course. It was just lovely reading all of her referees, the things that they wrote about her. And she's so humble. She's such a humble lady. It's quite magnificent. She's one of my favourite people.
I'm proud of overall of the whole organisation, the way it turned out. We had no idea that it would ever end up being the organisation it is today. I think I have to be proud of what they're doing.